everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Dealing with Grief and Loss series. With me here today is Aruos. Aruos, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome. How are you doing?
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here. I'm doing great. And you?
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad that you're taking time out of your schedule to be with us and share. So today, for those of you who are watching, Rose will be sharing about the loss of her dad and the grief that followed after. I'll be asking Rose a couple of questions, actually a number of questions, and she'll share from her experience and hopefully whatever Rose shares would help all of us dealing with grief and the loss of our loved ones. So, yes, let's jump right into it. I will start with, I had said I was lost her dad. So, I'll just start with when did you lose your dad?
This year in February it will be 25 years.
Oh, wow, that's a
Yeah,
long time. That's a
yeah,
long
it's a
time,
long
25
time.
years. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay. How old were you when he passed?
I was 13 years. Yeah, I was
You were
13 years.
13. Oh, you were a
Yeah.
teenager. That must have been
Mm-hmm.
tough as a teenager.
Um, as a teenager, it was tough. Yeah, it was tough, and yeah, we just had to carry on because my mom was. It really hit her. The wife is always the one to get really hit. When you have a good relationship with your spouse, and because his death was so sudden, he was in an accident.
Oh.
We're expecting him back on the day it happened, and yeah, we got the news that he had passed. He passed on the spot.
I'm so sorry for
Yeah,
your loss.
yeah, thank
You
you.
got the news. Where were you at the time when you got the news? Do you remember?
Yeah, I did. No one told me. My instincts told me.
Oh, really? Share about that.
Yeah,
I'd
no
like
one
to know
told
that.
me. Yeah.
Oh,
As a young teenager, yeah, I saw that my mom, actually elders from my church, because we grew up in a church compound. My father was a
okay,
pastor. Yeah,
okay.
so my mom's got a shop where she sells things, and they sent me. It's so strange that elders, different ones of them, like six of them. It's so strange. I know things like that don't just happen. They sent me to call my mom. It's a matter of urgency. So I went to her and I told her so and so and so and so. And people, they're asking after you. They said it's a matter of urgency. And she started fidgeting.
Hmm.
Like she sensed it. She sensed that something wasn't right. And then there was no phone. Those mobile phones were not 1998. I don't think they were mobile phones. So
Yeah,
I don't think, yeah, genau.
for us
Um,
back in Nigeria.
genau, yeah. There were no mobile phones, but I felt she was fidgeting. She was unnecessarily turning around in the shop looking for something. She was like, okay, stay here and wait for me. I'll be back. But there are things I had to take care of as well because she sent me on an errand. Aside from she was supposed to be at the shop, I was supposed to go on an errand. And then I decided to lock lock up the shop and go to her to let her know, oh, I have to go to this errand you sent me, because I know it's important. Only for me to get close to my house and there's a whole lot of people outside. I started crying.
Oh,
Then I started crying. Like I knew there was something wrong.
um, yeah.
Then people were telling me, oh, sorry, sorry. I was like, sorry for what? Like, so what I'm thinking is actually the case, you know. I knew somebody died. I didn't know he was the one. I just
Hmm.
felt that something wasn't right. Yeah.
Something. Wow.
I told my mom actually when I went to get her, I told her there's something wrong. There's something wrong. I just kept telling her. I think that added to the fact that made her
That
so fidget, and
video.
she was wondering
Mhm.
what could be wrong. I just, anyway, yeah,
Okay, that must have been tough.
mm,
And
yeah.
you have said how you reacted, but when you now learned that he passed, how did you react?
and the cry just wouldn't stop. The crying
Mm,
wouldn't stop. Like I was actually worried for my mom because I know that they were close. Growing up, we didn't experience any form of bad energy between them. They were like very good friends, you know. No
mm.
bad energy, no fighting. I don't know how they did it. Of course, couples have their fights.
Yes,
But
yes,
I don't know how they did it. We didn't sense it. As kids, we're very sensible. We're
yeah,
sensitive.
yeah,
We can pick up those vibes. But there was no
yeah.
vibe like that with them.
Yeah,
So my
they
mom,
probably found a way of managing it well.
yeah, yeah,
And that's a plus.
no, yeah, it's a plus. I admire it. I don't know how they did it. Sometimes when you ask my mom, how did you do it? He said sometimes in the night, my father wakes her up to settle differences.
Oh, you see, so that's something that's a gift that you should emulate, right?
Yeah,
that's a yeah, that's something nice to emulate and to remember, like that he doesn't is not out there in your faces yelling at your mom, or he would rather settle it, wake her up in the night and settle it. So yeah, that's a good
yeah,
memory to
yeah,
hold
it
on
is.
to
Yeah, we
hold on
have
to.
several memories about him. He's a disciplinarian, yeah? He's a
Mm-hmm.
pastor, of course. But aside from being a disciplinarian, he actually found a balance to it, you know?
Yeah.
Um, this is a man who sometimes we're scared of him when we've really messed up, kids. Then, but we can actually wait up for him. He comes really late back home. He comes like 11 p.m. sometimes. We wait for him. We don't, and we have to go to school the next day. We wait up
Yeah.
for him,
See,
and he'll be like,
that's
"Yeah," you'll be like, "You guys not sleeping yet? At the time, you're not sleeping yet." We hide
yeah.
underneath the table. We hide underneath the table and pinch his feet when he stands in front of the
Oh,
table. I'm like, "Who is that?" He was
that's
strict
so
with us,
sweet.
but I mean, he found a balance to,
But
the love and the discipline. Yeah, yeah,
that's so sweet. That's so sweet.
yeah.
Okay. We'll come back to talking about him and talking more about him. For now, I'll say,
Mm.
what does grief look like to you? Like, how has it felt like? What does grief look like? How would you explain the grief that you have experienced since the loss of your father? What does it look like to you?
Grief, I would describe it as it's like my mom would describe it. I'll tell you because then we were still quite young. I was still quite young, so I
Mm-hmm.
cannot really say how it really affected me then. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but my mom would say that it's like fire. When you lose someone you love, like a spouse, it's like fire. Like you're being burned. That's how she described what she felt. But for me back then, yes, I understood that I lost him,
Mm-hmm.
but we had family around. We were living in the church compound. There were always people around, family
Mm-hmm.
members, friends. So the brunt of it, I can't say that I really did feel it at that time because he was hardly home. You know,
Okay.
by the time we're going to school, he's still sleeping. By the time
Mm-hmm.
we're sleeping, he's coming back from work. Except the times we wait up for him.
Okay.
So despite that fact, there was still that bond. You know, there was still that
Mm-hmm.
love. There was still that would I say mutual connection. There was still that connection as a father, despite the fact that
Yeah.
okay, we don't get to see him so often because of work. We
Mm-hmm.
we still miss him, and that's why we wait up for him sometimes. We hardly see him. We wait up for him, and when he comes back home, we go to sleep. You know? So I can't
Yeah.
really
I feel.
pinpoint. But now that I've grown, as of growing up, getting into relationships and getting
Mm-hmm.
married, there are some
Mm-hmm.
things that I've experienced that I wish that he was around for me to speak to. You know, I know that he always finds a balance to things. He would not tell you, okay, yeah. He would not sugarcoat things. He's not like that. He would tell you how it is. So that's why I really did miss him
Mhm.
when I got married, and there were a whole lot of things going on. There were family members that I could ask, and I did ask, but I still missed his own input,
Yeah.
in whatever area I found myself in life up till now. It's been 25 years. I still dream about him up till now.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So
I mean, the input of a father would always be very valuable, especially when you now are in marriage and or in relationship with other men, right? And
yeah,
you begin to see, or I mean, you begin to see the qualities that your father had, and then somehow maybe wanting some of those qualities
you
in
compare,
in
yeah,
your
yeah,
husband, and then
yeah.
sometimes I've heard where people say, I'm not your father, don't compare me with your father. So
Mm.
having not having that at all, I imagine that it must have been tough for you. But yeah, what do you think is the most painful part of grief for you? What do you think is the
That
most
that
painful part?
the most painful part would be that you don't get to see the person anymore.
Ever again? Yeah,
You don't get to speak to the person anymore. You
yeah,
know, he had a very spectacular way he laughs, and he doesn't take life so hard.
yeah,
Takes life so easy. Yeah.
yeah. And then
I
missing
really did. Yeah, yeah,
missing all that, yeah, must be painful. And for me, I just think like, can I wish personally, I wish we could just, you know, maybe after 5 years, God sends them to come briefly and then go again. You know,
that would be
I,
wonderful.
I know, right? I wish we could do that. And I actually agree with you that I think that the most painful part is that you never see them again. And then even if they say, oh, you would meet in, afterwards, like after all you leave this world, we're not really sure. Like nobody has gone back and come to tell us that yes, I met my person, right? So that
Yeah,
uncertainty puts you in some kind of so I'm not going to see this person again. And then even if I'm going to see them, they
mm,
probably would have changed form. Would they be the same? So it gives you all kinds of unanswered questions. You just keep asking yourself so many questions, and that puzzle you live with it till the rest, like for the rest of your life. And I think
yeah,
that's
yeah,
that's yeah, I agree. I would support that. That's like one of the toughest parts, if not the
yeah.
toughest part. Yeah. How has grief impacted your life? I know you had said a bit of that, but yeah, how what other ways would you say that grief has impacted your life?
Mm, I would say in a way that you have to stand up for yourself. You don't have that person. If the person was to remind you all the time, yeah, you have to be up and about by 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. The person is no longer there. It's either you do that for yourself or you don't do it, you know, or you catch the downside of not waking up early or doing what you need to do. My father was a pastor. He would always tell you, read this portion of the Bible, get acquainted with the Bible. When you come back from church service, you need to tell me what
Yeah,
the preacher preached. You need to summarize it for me.
yeah,
In his way, that was a way of helping us to be conversant with yeah, what to listen,
mm,
really to listen, to give a listening ear to try to understand what you hear, and not only in the church. That helps you in your everyday life as well.
yes,
So
absolutely.
if you don't do that, then maybe you end up doing it at a very late time in your life where a
Mhm.
lot of things could have gone wrong already.
Yes,
So
yes,
that
yes,
was. that's a sort of impact.
Yeah, so kind of being very independent, right? Learning to be independent, and
Yeah,
would you say that that's a totally positive thing, or would you say that
it
there were
it will
negative
be it will be
traits
it will be a positive thing. It will be a positive. That's positive in my opinion.
in your
Um,
opinion? Yeah.
yeah, because when you person is always there to remind you, you may be slack about it, you know. But when the person is no
Yeah.
longer there to say, okay, you have to do this, then you'll be up and doing. Then it will ring in your head like, oh, he wouldn't like me to be sleeping by this time. Let me be up and doing. Let me listen. Let me do this. Let me do things that he would
You
ordinarily like,
want to
you know.
do. I
So he
like
will
that.
be happy, you know.
I like that. Yes. So that
Yeah,
also challenges us when we
you
think about
know.
what we think our loved ones would like or would
Mm,
love. It kind of
yeah,
pushes us, to want to be the best versions of ourselves. Yeah. So I
yeah,
like that point came up. Yeah. So
yeah.
how has grief impacted your family? You said that your mom. How many are you guys? And yes, your mom was close with your dad and they had a good relationship based on what you experienced. So how has it impacted your family as a whole?
We became closer. Wasn't like we weren't close before, but there was this without saying it, it came. We now became so closer than before. I would say it wasn't we didn't speak about it. It just happened so naturally.
Yeah,
You
unspoken.
know, became
Yes,
you
because
know having time for ourselves more. You know, being close our own best friends because you don't know the thing happened suddenly with my dad. So
yeah,
we don't know what will happen to
happened
you know
with
again
them.
now for any other person, any one of us. Because the same year that my father died, the beginning of the year he died. Towards the end of the year, we almost lost my mom.
Oh
To
my
operate,
God.
yeah, to operation. We almost lost her. I actually dreamt that she passed, and I was like, I didn't know that period I was dreaming, and I cried out of sleep. She was battling her life in the
Oh my
hospital.
God.
Yeah,
Oh.
she had an operation and some things went wrong, and but as God will have it, as like some people will say, they will be like, oh, she left and your father's spirit slapped her back and said, go back to my kids. Who are you leaving my kids for?
I like
She
that.
came back.
I hear that.
And she came
Yeah, he truly slapped her back. Like, nope,
back.
what's
And
your
she
time
came
yet?
back. No, no,
Go
no,
back.
no. Who are you leaving my kids for? I just left. Go back. You
I'm
know,
so
that's what some
glad.
people will say.
I'm
But
so glad she
yeah,
came back. I'm so glad he gave her that
yeah.
slap.
I'm not
If
saying
something
he
like that,
did.
if something like that ever happens, right?
You
But
know,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, glad that she came back and she didn't leave you guys.
Yeah, and yeah, yeah. It wasn't easy for her, but with time, my mom is someone who doesn't cry, and that's not good. You know,
Hmm.
um, she feels the pain, but letting it out through tears, it's quite difficult.
Difficult for
You
her.
know, yeah, she cried. It's not like she didn't cry at that period, but afterwards, there's no how that she would not feel that loss, of course. You know.
Yeah, and then again, she might have been crying in her own silent moments. Like maybe she didn't want to show you all
She
and
doesn't cry.
express.
She says it
Oh,
herself. She
it's
hardly
very as
ever
well.
does it. And at some point, I was like that, but I had to find that release, because it doesn't help your chest region. It's
Exactly. I was going to say that maybe
gathered there. Yeah,
you have
it's
a
gathered
heavy
there. You
lump
can't. Mm,
in your chest,
it's not.
and yeah, and that may
But
that may go
yeah,
on,
go
go on.
ahead. Yeah,
No,
I think she
I was
found a
just
way
going to say
to
to deal with it. Yes.
know. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Okay. Um, did you have the support of your family and friends? So when it happened, did you have the support of your family? Because
Would
usually,
I say 150%,
oh
100%
yeah,
we did. Oh yeah,
oh
it was
nice. So
From the church,
immediate
from
family.
family, from the church, from family, from neighbors, everybody was there.
Oh
It
wow,
was,
that's a
it,
blessing.
yeah, yeah, it is a blessing. We live like in a community because the church is a very huge acres of land, and we're like a small community in there. So
Mm.
we know each other, we know each other. We have prayer meetings in the morning and evening, so we're like a big family, like a small village.
Oh
So
nice.
yeah,
Oh,
so they were there.
oh nice, nice. Did you have the
Mm.
support of your friends? Like your close friends? Like would you
Yeah,
say that
then
you had the support? Then yes.
yeah, 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 yeah. In their own small, we were all young then. But
Yeah.
yeah, we did, we did.
Okay. Over time, how have your friends reacted? Do you think that, like, do they even remember? Do they check up on you once in a while? Do they ask you how you're doing? Like, over time, just want to know.
Are you speaking about in 1, 2, 3 years or 8 years or
You could,
10 years?
yeah, you could respond. You could respond the way, like, it actually happened. So, in the first few years, how did you respond? How did your friends react? Were they checking up? And then after that, did everyone just go silent? Like, how was it for you?
I'm asking this because my friends are. I don't have my friends are my siblings and my friends just a little bit around my neighbors. Yeah. So
Okay.
it didn't really come up because we saw each other every day. We played with each other almost every day. So that question didn't really come up at any time. But I
Mhm.
believe they were quite sensitive to know what to say.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that will bring back grief or to bring back the pain. They didn't really were quite young,
Want
you
to
know.
do
They didn't
that?
really,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But would you have wanted, I'm just like, this is a general question. Like, would you have wanted, like, over the course of the years, would you have wanted to speak more about him with people?
Yeah, yeah, that would have been good, you know. Um, in some sense, I think then I would have said speaking about him would have brought up emotions. But now, yeah, it's been years. I still feel that it's never gone. It's there,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just a little bit lighter. It's not so heavy like it was in the early stages. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the church members who always talked about him because he was well
It
known
was
and he was well
good.
liked. Yeah, the church members they always talked about him. Even there was a video of him preaching once that somebody forwarded to me, and I really missed him. This was like 5 years ago.
Oh,
So
that's
over
so
20
sweet.
years, yeah. So 20 years, I still feel that void
Yeah, but
of
that's
him
so
not
sweet of
being
that
there.
person. Mm-hmm. So
Yeah,
sweet of
yeah,
that person to have, forwarded that video to you. And it meant that they remembered him and they thought,
good.
oh, it would be nice to share it with his daughter, right? So
Yeah,
that's something that we want to see. Like that's something that I would want to see. Like I want people to,
yeah,
talk about my mom. I want people to talk about like I just talk about her the way
yeah,
it was like she was a human being, right? She was living with us.
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
she had a life with us. It's not that she's now such she was never here. She was here. So just say
yeah,
something, like say something, oh,
yeah,
your mom did this, or oh, I remember your mom today, or it just brings some
yeah,
sort of relief and some
yeah.
sort of smile to your
I
face.
understand. Yeah, yeah, true.
Mm-hmm.
That the person is not forgotten completely because the person is no longer here.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. Like sometimes it feels like everyone has forgotten her, and then I have to be the one to just always remember her. And then when I'm remembering her, and I feel some sort of guilt in the sense that okay, how am I the only one remembering? And should I even really say? Should I really talk about her since everybody has has
yeah.
was
Well,
saying.
for family members, you would wonder, but for people who are not family members, you really don't, shouldn't feel, they may not feel the need to continue, even if
Mm,
they have it in their mind, in their head, they
they
may
don't
not
want
feel
to
the
bring
need
it
to
up.
continue to do that now. But for family members, of course, they will always remember, they will never forget. And for the
Yeah,
immediate family members, like, like you or like me, uh, it's normal. It's only natural that we feel the way we do,
I didn't
you
bring
know?
it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the whole point of this, right? That there's more awareness, right? There's more awareness to people who have people who have lost their loved ones, so that it's
Mm.
okay to bring it up. It's okay to say,
Yeah.
"Oh, your mom did this. Oh, I remember your mother's stew. I remember," and because it will make the person smile. I've heard people tell me,
You're
"Oh,
right.
I remember your mother's stew. Oh, it was really, really very, very like just something as simple as that." You
Yeah.
just make the
It
person
warms you
smile.
up,
It
genau.
warms you up. I'm like, oh, you
Yeah.
remember. So I'm just going to give a quick, I know this is not about me, but I'm just going to give a quick example. So on Facebook, just some weeks ago when I kind of celebrated my mom's posthumous birthday. I posted her picture, posted something like some words underneath the post, and then someone just came randomly and said, "Oh, I remember your 21st birthday. How she planned it. How I had two
Oh,
rounds of plate of food, and how
food.
she was going and how she was going about
Oh,
making
that's
sure that your
nice.
friends that
Have
me and your
eating.
other friends were okay and were at eating. If you know how that this is
Yeah,
14 years
warmed you
after,
up.
you
No, I
want
know.
me like this comment. Like I'm so glad. So it's things as little
Yeah,
as that. So yeah, and for those of you who are watching, I'm just saying this so that you can it's okay to bring up people who have died. It's okay to bring them up with
yeah.
their person. It'll
I'll tell
warm their
you,
heart.
I'll give you another instance. You're very correct what you said. It really does warm one's heart,
Good.
like a family member, you know. There's
Mhm.
a neighbor that we have. Um, uh, my dad, when you ask him for something, we the children, he'll be like, "Yeah, I bought like, for instance, I don't have a school bag that is walkable that I can use. Can we get a new one?" He'll be like, "But I just bought you last month. What did you do to it?" And I'll say, "No, Daddy, was like last year you bought me. It's gone bad." But he would refuse to buy me a new one. But when my
Mhm.
neighbor, yeah, she will be like, our neighbor was telling me this, and I really laughed. I was like, she told me that she was passing through my father's office, and she was dragging her feet, like her slippers is bad. And my father
Yeah.
calls her princess. Princess, what's wrong with your feet? And said, my slippers is bad. And say, yeah, take money and go and buy a new one.
Oh my God.
Can you take, go and get yourself a new slipper. I was like,
Wow.
really? It
Really?
warmed me. It warmed my heart really because it was
Yeah.
that good to people. Even if it doesn't really buy for us, I don't feel like it doesn't love me because it doesn't buy me what I need. No, I don't feel that at all.
Yeah.
No,
Yes. He probably had to
really did warm.
prioritize. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Oh, nice. Nice. See? You
I
see?
didn't know
Yeah.
that about him because I was like, oh, I need this bag and my daddy doesn't want to buy me. He wants me to keep using this old one that is gone bad. And it really did warm my heart that, oh, he's not just doing it, like, oh, it's a form of teaching you to be manageable with what you have
The
in that
resources that you
direction,
have.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, in that direction. But he doesn't do it to people out there. He's nicer to them out there. I didn't really take
Mm-hmm.
it like I wasn't sad or
Holding a
angry
grudge.
about. No, 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 not at all. I was
Mm-hmm.
actually
Mm-hmm.
very happy about that. You know?
Yes, yes. He of course he probably provides for you more than he provides for people
Of
who are out
of
there,
course, of course.
So he a one of being nice to somebody compared to how many
Yeah,
times he's probably providing for you. They're
yeah,
two
yeah,
different things. So yeah, but
yeah,
it's good to hear about this. And yeah, this is what we're talking about, guys. For those who are watching, would like to hear about our loved ones, reach out to anyone especially your close friend or close family member who has lost somebody. It'll be good to at least not act as if the person just disappeared. Like the person never was in this world,
Yeah.
and you never speak about them again because you feel like their person will be sad. No, even if they are sad in the moment, they will be grateful to you for mentioning a
Yeah.
memory that you have of their loved one. All
That's
right,
true.
let's go on. Let's go on. Would you say that you gain friends and family,
I
or did
did.
you lose? Oh, good,
I did. There were so
good.
many people in my church that I didn't really know. And some
Yeah.
of them, they actually get angry. I was just speaking to my sister the other day. I'll be like, do you remember there are some people who will be like, yeah, are you not Odo's daughter? I'll be like, yes. Um, don't you know me? I'll say, no, I don't know you. And they take offense.
Yeah,
They
because
take
he was
offense.
a
A
pastor,
very
right? He was
popular person.
a
Yeah, he
popular
was a very
person.
popular person.
So it
And
was
then we,
this was
yeah, excuse me.
okay.
Yeah,
So
we gain friends.
good. Would you say you lost
Yeah.
some friends and family? You know,
No, we didn't. We
you
didn't
didn't.
lose any.
Oh,
We gained. Yeah, we
you
gained
are
more.
you are blessed. You are blessed.
Amen.
Because yeah, because the story is usually different for some people where they lose family members and lose friends because just certain circumstances that surround the death of their loved one. Especially me, I would say that I lost some family members and I lost some friends.
So,
But yeah, that's that story for another day. But yeah, so I would say that
okay.
it's a blessing that you gained family members and you gained some friends. All right, we'll
hmm
move on. What advice would you have for others?
So for people who've lost family members, yeah.
Yeah, for people who've lost their
Mm,
dad, for people who've lost their loved ones, what advice from your experience
what
of
can
grief?
I say? What can I say? It's a very painful situation to lose a loved one, yeah. But whether we like it or not, we have to continue to live. Whether we like it or not, we have to continue to do what we have to do because we're living. Yeah, things the state or life doesn't stop when a loved one dies. So as difficult as it is, things will have to continue to move. It's just time that can heal. Yeah, it's an everyday thing. You try to be around people that speak up positively into you. You try to be around people. Don't be alone. Yeah, because when you're alone, that's
Mm,
where the devil works with that sad mindset or whatever you're passing through at that time, the grief. The devil works so good with grief when you're alone. So it's best. I know at some point, some people, it depends on how they lose the loved one. They may not want to be around people, which is
yes, I was going to say
understanding,
that.
which is understandable. But at some point, there's a limit to which people can help you emotionally. At some point you just have to pick up yourself and say, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, because even doctors, psychological doctors, there's a point to which they can help you to, you know. So we just have to try to carry on, because when we don't carry on, then we're done for, God forbid, you know.
Mm,
Yep.
okay. Can you say some of the things you have done to help you carry on? Like maybe one or two things. Do you know? Like, did you start a new hobby, or did you like do anything? I mean, if you don't have an answer to that, it's
So
fine.
I was actually in the choir, and we lived in this community, like I said. So you were hardly ever alone. You were hardly ever. Your friends will come and knock on your door. Come out, let's play. Come out. They
Good.
try to chat you up, but I don't know how my mom did it, because then I was still little, and my friends. I think we as children then, young children, we got over it faster. As at that time, it's easier for us to get it over, not completely over with, but you move on faster than, for instance, your mom, who is really grown and an adult and the spouse of the person that passed, you know?
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. You've talked about some memories of him. Do you want to say more about him? This is the point where you say some more things about him.
Yeah, he was a very friendly person. He was very outgoing, you know. And even if you come to him and say, so such and such person said such and such about you, he would only smile. He
Oh,
wouldn't, he wouldn't, he wouldn't add to it. He wouldn't subtract to it. He wouldn't tell you you're wrong or right. He would just say, yeah,
yeah.
just leave that person. The understanding is quite different from, yeah, the understanding is not in the right place. Yeah, he
Hmm.
had a whole lot of qualities. Of course, no one is perfect, but the qualities that he had, they are very, very what's the word now? You can tap from it, you know, not really tap from it. I think I've said a whole lot about him. I don't remember any other things
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
say
he
at
was
this
nice. He
moment.
was
Yeah,
nice. He was generous. Yeah, you said he was nice, and he was
yeah,
nice to other
yeah,
people. He was also a disciplinarian, right?
yeah.
As you said,
Genau.
and he
Yeah,
knew how to balance being
yeah,
disciplined. And even though he was a disciplinarian, you guys would stay up,
and
waiting
wait
up for
for
him to
him.
come
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you
yeah. The
still
only
rejoice
time we
in
hide,
company.
the only time we hide is when we messed up,
I
or we know that we're
know.
getting. Well, but there was a point,
But
the rod is always what our African parents use, but at some point he
mm-hmm,
stopped it altogether and he was doing more conversation. He was doing talking and
conversation.
talking. Yeah, what happened? Why did you do this? What do you think you did wrong? What can you do better? I still remember it because I even
Okay.
dreamt about it. There was
Hmm.
once I dreamt we were just talking and laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing. I was like, what sort of dream is this? Like I miss him so much. Because uh,
Uh,
I wouldn't say that period I really thought about him, but I know I miss him. But I
mm-hmm.
know that I don't know. Sometimes your subconscious just springs things on you. Sometimes, but I really woke up smiling.
Yeah. I totally understand you. I actually
Yeah.
I always almost dream about my mom. I dreamt
Mm.
about her 2 nights ago. I always almost like
Oh,
I always
oh,
almost, and I know that some of my friends who have lost their loved ones say that that is a blessing because they haven't had, they haven't seen their
oh! They
loved
don't
ones.
dream.
They don't really
Okay.
dream about them like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I always almost, I was saying it in the last episode that I dream about my mom a lot. And then even when I'm about to make certain decisions in my life, I dream
Really?
she comes. Oh yeah, yeah, she
That
comes
is
and
wonderful.
I tell you. And so it now
Oh,
happens so much that I'm waiting to see her in the dream.
oh, that's
Like I'm
wonderful.
hoping to see her. And then I've also had many times where she's fighting for me in the dream. Like she's actually
I have had
defending
that.
me.
I've
Oh,
had
have
that. My
you?
my father had a gun, and he was telling me, run, run, run.
Well, you
Yeah,
see, you
he
see.
told me
So,
run. He had a gun. He was running side by side with me, and he was telling me run, run. He was guiding me and my sister, my younger sister.
oh yeah,
I
like
didn't I
if
didn't really understand that dream,
you
but
understand
yeah.
that, you never know. Like a lot of things are mysterious, especially with the death of people. And
Mm,
like I used to say in my mind, if I never believed in the existence of the spiritual world, I since my mom died, I definitely believe it
believe.
because I see her like as real as ever in the dream,
Mm,
in the dreams that I have. And when I wake up, I'm like, oh, why? Like,
why did
why?
it end? I want to
Yeah,
go back to sleep.
why? So yes, we don't know what it is where they are, but they are definitely somewhere, and I believe that they can see us. That one I believe because the dreams means that for me means that they can see us and they're trying to be a part, like they're a part of our lives, and they're trying to come and like tell us one or two things or help us in some way. We don't know how, but I we don't know, like, until we until we get there ourselves. But I strongly
Mm,
believe that they are a part of our lives. They can see. And if we
Mm.
dream about them, it means that they're just trying to either tell us something or help us or, intercede for us if they can. I mean, we never know.
You know, I don't want to dwell so much on this topic because I am one who don't believe in life after death. But
Okay.
the fact that I keep seeing them in the dream, I take it there to my heart. I take it there
Yeah.
to my heart. I don't want to. I don't know um what I would say about it, but I really take it
Mm-hmm.
there to my heart that I still get to see him because I miss him.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he fights for me in the dream.
Mm-hmm.
Then sometimes we just have conversations. Then the last one I had, that was last year. It was him fighting for me, telling me to run. With he was holding a gun. So I don't know what to make of it, but I'm being positive about the dream.
Good. Good. Yeah. I
So
mean, we all have our
yeah,
different beliefs.
yeah,
But
okay,
again, it's also a good thing that, like I said, it's also a blessing that you see
yeah.
him because some
Mm,
people do not and they wish they did. And sometimes I remember the last episode of my friend who I interviewed, she said that she wishes her mom could just come and tell her like what's going to happen in the future. I'm like, don't we all?
wonderful.
I'm sure we all wish that our person could say, you know what, this is going to happen, or don't go
Do
here,
do it
don't
like
do
this. Do it
this,
like
things like that, But
that'd be wonderful. Yeah.
yeah, it's not, our dreams are not usually as direct as that, but for me, there's certain decisions that I have to make, and once I see her in the dream, I kind of know like the next steps to take, and
Really?
I get that like
That's
support
that's
from her.
nice.
Yeah, I
You're
see a
you're
lot of that.
blessed.
Yeah, I would say that. I would say I'm blessed. I would also say that I think it's also the very deep connection that we had.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
reduce it to the fact that anybody that doesn't see their person doesn't have a deep connection, but I would just attribute it to that deep connection we had. It was just myself and her, right? And then I also think she may also be worried that I'm not okay. So
Mm,
maybe that's her own way of showing up to say, "Are you okay? Don't worry, I'm
yeah.
fine.
You
Just be
never know.
fine. Just be fine for
Mm.
me." Okay. Where if you had an opportunity to speak with him, what would you say?
I miss you so much. I wish you could come back.
Oh, no,
I miss
that's
him
blooming.
so much.
That's
Mm,
happening. Okay.
mm.
All right. We're going to jump quickly into a game of choice. We're wrapping up here. So, one, grief ends versus grief never ends. Which do you choose?
Grief never ends.
Grief never ends. Good. We move on
Yeah.
versus we never do.
We move on, not completely. We move on gradually.
Hmm.
Yeah, we move on gradually. We move
Okay.
on, but move on is a gradual process. Yeah.
Okay. We heal completely versus we heal in bits but never completely.
We heal in bits, I would say.
Okay.
We heal in bits. Yeah.
Okay, it happened for a reason versus there can never be a logical reason.
Happened for a reason because I would say that there's a time to die, like the Bible says, there's a time to die, there's a time to leave, there's a time to plant. If we have our own judgment or have our own say, we wouldn't want them to go. So the word of God will not come to pass. The word of God always comes to pass. But it's just so unfortunate that your loved ones will be part of. We too, we don't know when we'll go. So
Okay,
and we are the loved ones of people, other people. So somebody
good.
has to.
Yeah. Okay. Um, dream of your loved one versus never dream of them. We've talked about this.
Dream of them.
Have them back versus never have them back.
Have them back. I said it before.
Have them back.
Yeah.
I still have so many unanswered questions versus the divine has shown me in different ways why they took them.
I don't know. I don't know what to say about that.
Do you still have unanswered questions?
Can I say?
Like, do you used to say,
Um.
"Oh, why did you take them at this time? Why did you take him?" Did you like? Do you still have
Yeah.
unanswered questions?
Yeah. You know that in bits we've touched the fact that okay, it's not also a logical reason why they were taken. So I really don't know what to say about that because if they were there to always remind you, do this and do this the right time, you need to do it. Okay. For instance, some people that are an only child or um both father and mother goes in one day. You know, what can someone say about that? What could be the logical reason, you know?
Right,
So I
like
really
me.
don't know. I really don't know what to say about that. No,
Right.
but
Yeah.
I have questions, but really they say that God knows best, you know, and we cannot
Okay.
really question God, you know. So,
Okay.
yep,
Yeah, that's your way of dealing with it. That's good. All right.
yep.
We've come to the end of our session. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for taking the time to answer and to share with us about your lovely dad. From what you shared, he was lovely. He was very reasonable, and yeah, I hope that you continue to heal completely. I hope that his memory will remain alive in your life and in your heart.
Mhm,
And I
mhm.
hope that God takes care of your mom as well and
Yeah.
keep her longer than as long as as she till she's old and grey. And generally,
Amen.
I just hope that people who are watching, for those who are watching, I hope that they've learned one or two things, and they've just listened to how some other person have has dealt with the loss of their dad. So, yeah, thank you so much, Aros. I appreciate
I'm
you
glad
taking the
to
time
be
to do
here.
this. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you too for
All
having me.
right, all right,
Bye.
bye.